Hello everybody, this is Bill the Adjuster with your smart claim tip on plumbing access. What is it? On the slide in front of you right there is a picture of a pipe beneath the bathroom floor in a building on slab. So underneath that floor is earth, concrete, and whatever else was filled in underneath of that floor. And when you have a broken pipe or some form of supply to your bathroom that ruptures beneath the slab, we'll need to create access, meaning cut a hole in the floor to get to that plumbing. How does my insurance company handle that? Because it can get really expensive, by the way. Sometimes you have to take up the entire floor. Alrighty. So plumber's access itself is really covered under most homeowner policies, meaning it is generally listed as a coverage. There's some specific areas in the policy that may call it tear out, but it's generally covered under the policy. It is limited for the most part to indoor only. So if they have to dig up your front yard, the access portion is generally not covered in the front yard. So it's anything inside the house would be covered under the access provision, and it doesn't cover the cost of the plumbing repair or the pipe. So they spend thousands of dollars digging up to get to the broken pipe, and then whatever it costs to fix the pipe won't be covered. This can be really limited, the amount of coverage available on what we call modified forms, them being the forms you see on TV every day, and I'll go over a couple of them tonight. So rerouting of plumbing actually can be an option under access claims, meaning instead of digging up the floor, instead of tearing all through here, can we rerun this pipe in a way or a manner that gives us less damage to the property? All right, so let's look at it a little bit further. So the companies you want to look out for right now are State Farm and Farmers. They both have limits in this section that can be detrimental to a claim, and some of them we call tunneling limits. That is where you have to push or dig a pipe underneath to get through concrete without disrupting the concrete, where you basically tunnel the pipe underneath something, and there's specific limits in these policies for how much money is available for that. And like I said, the State Farm and the Farmers policy, very restrictive language. Let's take a look at a plumbing invoice example. So a plumbing invoice example would be they had to cut a hole in the concrete slab like we showed you in the beginning. Say they charged $1,200. They repaired the pipe underneath the slab, say $600, and then they patched the concrete for $300. Almost all those plumbers are going to say, hey, we're not responsible for any of the damage we created, meaning the tile, the paint, and everything else. So the tile repair estimate was $5,000. So under most policies, you're going to have the covered portion being the access of 12, the broken pipes not covered, so you'd have the $300 to patch the concrete, and the policy would most likely cover the $5,000 in tile or building damage. So the only thing not covered in a standard HO form or a standard HO form would be the actual pipe repair of $600. Not such a bad deal. Take a look at Farmers if that involved tunneling. So cost to tunnel under, cut into or tear out, and replace any part of a foundation, slab, concrete floor, patio, or pad, or the like, or the foundation or retaining wall are limited to $2,000. Well, if you had $5,000 to dig out that slab, they would actually limit the coverage to that section to $2,000. Well, it's not uncommon for the access provision or access cost to be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, even $10,000. So if you have a farmer's policy and this loss occurs to you, you're not looking for this coverage when you buy the policy. It doesn't show on the declaration page, and they certainly don't make a commercial about it. But it's right in the policy. That is copy and pasted right out of the policy. The limit is $2,000. It's really pretty aggressive, just so you know. State Farm's is really complicated. I had to read it 3 times when it first came out. So most access provisions or tear-outs are the result of a blockage in plumbing. So you flush the toilet, all of a sudden the toilet overflows. That's generally what is known as a trigger for access coverage. So you call the plumber, you say, my toilet overflowed, had a little bit of water on the floor, not a big deal, maybe got the vanity wet. Plumber comes out and says, yep, we ran a camera through the line and we have to tear up the middle of the house to get to it. Well, if you read State Farm's provision, it says the cost you incur to tear out and replace only that particular part of the building or condominium unit to gain access to the specific point that system or appliance from within where the water escaped. Well, in my scenario, the water escaped at the toilet. And I'm going to need to access the middle of the family room where the break is underneath the slab, and therefore this provision may not apply. It's incredible. It needs to be fought. I know there's some class action work being done on this provision, but I can tell you right now that this, if you have this in your policy, and you do if you have a new State Farm, when you have an under slab plumbing leak, you can be in real trouble. If you like what you heard on tonight's call, give us a call, send us an email, share us on your social media page, send me an email directly. I'd be glad to put your questions on the call. Again, this is Billy.